welcome everybody to the Waverley Place PhotoVoice opening at 1010 Pleasant Street. We thank you all for being here today. We appreciate your interest and support of all 8 PhotoVoice class participants whose projects are on display today. My name is David, that's Shauna. We're peer specialists here at Waverley Place and we ran the PhotoVoice class. So once again, to all of the people who committed their time, we thank you very, very much. It was a long 10-week class and people put a lot of time and commitment and thought into their projects. You'll see that they're really wonderfully diverse, a whole bunch of different themes, which is just made it a really fun class to do. Folks, what they did is they drew from their lived experience with mental health issues to create works that added to the discussion and understanding of the subject. The works showcased here today, which you're going to hear, are by Michael, Viola, Tom, Jennifer, Eric, Shauna, and me, Dave. So at this point, I'd like to call up Michael to talk to you a little bit about what PhotoVoice is about.
Thanks, David. So PhotoVoice is a public health research process that loans cameras to people who have been disempowered to take photographs of their communities. Through group reflection, the photos are narrated with the goals of enabling people to record and reflect on their community strengths and concerns, to promote critical dialogue and knowledge of personal community issues, and to promote awareness of possible solutions to policymakers. The final product of the class is a collection of photographs and narratives that are mounted for display. The group decides where to show their work. The class has been run 5 times already over the last 6 years, and our works have been exhibited at BU's Hope Gallery, Belmont Gallery of Art, and the Massachusetts State House. The program was developed by the Boston University Center for Psychiatric Rehabilitation. It has been also used to understand some of the health issues of women living in rural China and people living in homeless shelters in Ann Arbor, Michigan. In both cases, a marginalized population used cameras to document their lives.
This is Tom. Tom's going to read.
My name is Tom. Participants, actors, investigators on a photo mission documenting with pictures and narratives the experience of living with a mental illness. It is a creative process to take photos and write narratives like photojournalism, but it is also research. To attend class and participate in group discussion on topics such as stigma, language, prejudice, and discrimination, as well as thinking about living in our communities, students perform valuable commentary. Some people have chosen to focus on topics where they like to see change and improvement. For example, misperceptions of mental health and media, or ways that care could be better. Others have focused on things that have aided them in their recovery, such as playing sports or painting. In all cases, people are drawn from and speaking about their personal experiences. Projects beyond testimonies that are inarguable. They represent personal perspectives that we hope will serve to educate and enlighten all who read them. For example, 3 children we have had at the State House have so far allowed lawmakers to actually vote on budgets for mental health surveys to read our works. Lay people and tourists were also exposed to our works as well.
Thanks, Tom. Hi everyone, I'm Shauna. Thank you for coming. People really brought themselves into this, and we had a lot of discussions which weren't always easy. It's a difficult topic. It's not the easiest of subject matter, but people pulled it off with incredible grace and thoughtfulness. And what you will notice about the projects is how wonderfully diverse they are. There's a great variety of themes and perspectives, opinions represented in the works, and each work is truly unique. I feel really lucky to have been part of this class and to have been part of the energy, and I've learned a lot from people in this process. So kudos again to everybody for all of your hard work. Through coming together as a cohesive class and directly addressing issues of ignorance, prejudice, and discrimination in rich discussion, students also become empowered. Research done on empowerment both before and after the class shows that class members would be more likely to speak up after taking the class if they heard someone saying something ignorant or inaccurate. So now we have PhotoVoice member, he's a two-timer, once wasn't enough, came back for more art. He's going to talk a little bit about experience in the class.
Thanks, Sean. My name's Art. Being in PhotoVoice class twice, I soon came to realize that we all had things to say about the mentally ill and treated. By having so many different perspectives, we all learned that we were not alone. This is very cathartic and a bonus to getting the word out. It was empowering as well. In a group, people really felt relieved that they had no way out of their mental anguish through sharing. Caregivers don't know what it is like to feel not listened to. Peers helping peers is a very powerful type of healing. Fighting stigma as a group of peers, as we did in the PhotoVoice class, diminishes the sense that we were all alone in this battle. Our discussions in the class allowed us to look at stigma and prejudice through the eyes of the people experiencing it. The classes allowed me to personally feel like a great weight was lifted off me. We came together to share parts of our lives with the goal that the future would be better for us and others who follow in our footsteps. Hopefully they will experience less stigma and suffering and can heal and grow without pain. Thanks.
So now Sean is going to call folks up to read their projects and comment if they wish on their processes.
First up, I'd like to welcome Art.
Eventually, through trial and error, I came to realize I was my own best healer. This photo reminds me of when I was first diagnosed. It felt like no one was listening to me and that no one understood my pain. They treated me like a farm animal, gave me tranquilizers. It frustrated me and traumatized me. Also, what they were saying about my diagnosis turned out to be incorrect. Instead of being schizophrenic, I actually had complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Eventually, through trial and error, I came to realize I was my own best healer. In today's society, and even in the healthcare system, it seems that men aren't supposed to be emotional. It reminds me of a line from a Bob Dylan song. They say it is a sin to know and feel too much within. But I think that being emotional is a strength. We live in a society that is run by and worships alpha males. In reality, it takes many types of people to make the world work. If the system is to work, it has to be inclusionary. We have to stop bigotry and prejudice and realize that we were all equals. Comments on what I wrote. I remember when I was first diagnosed that I felt misunderstood by my caregivers. Not only did they get the diagnosis wrong, they put me on the wrong meds too. This caused a tremendous amount of pain and suffering that could have been avoided. If they chose to help me instead of judge me, maybe I would have suffered less. Ultimately, the most important thing I learned was that I needed to be in charge of my own recovery. I also learned that being an emotional male was all right. That was even a strength. Specifically, my love of nature and animals and how I feel about them allows me to feel connected to the earth and its wonders. I do a lot of work on sustainability and really care about the planet and its future. I hope others in their hearts know that what we are doing to the planet is wrong. I think knowing how to heal myself has allowed me to heal the planet as well. Being kind and not critical is something everybody should aspire to. That's it.
Next up we have Michael.
This is my project here. The tagline is, which is scarier, skateboarding or overcoming an emotional barrier? And this is a photo of me jumping over a Jersey barrier on my skateboard, which I'm going to in a minute. Kickflip, heel flip, ollie pop, we jump over the barrier. Which is scarier, skateboarding or overcoming an emotional barrier? The connection is made. Over time we all fade. We do it for the joy, not for any money that's made. Bam, slam, eating pavement or your own foot. These are some of our challenges with many more to boot. That's why I've got to root for my own self and for yours to boot too. But in the end, it all evens out as long as we get up each time we fall. As long as we face our fears when our back's against the wall. That way we learn it's a process that never ends and that it's a much better journey if we bring some friends. Over and out, this is the end until we see what's around the next bend. And as you can see here, I signed a Crooked Jacket, which is a pseudonym I use sometimes for my artwork. It's a juxtaposition to Straight Jacket, which I think you can understand. And also I like the adjective crooked because it kind of describes my style a little bit. So kickflip, heel flip, and ollies, those are all different skateboarding tricks. Like I said, I'm ollieing over a Jersey barrier there. I wanted to connect skateboarding and recovery, because sometimes recovery can feel so serious. You know, having mental illness, I know I can take life too seriously, take myself too seriously, and having fun things to do, it kind of helps to lighten the mood a bit for me. There's also a reference to a journey, which is how I see recovery. Recovery is, it's going to go on for the rest of my life. I'm always going to have more to learn, you know. Like I said, if I bring friends along, you know, I've got a lot of friends in recovery who support me, and I couldn't do life or recovery without that. And then, you know, we never know what's around the next bend, but there's always something, you know. Everything fades and something new comes together. So I really wanted to just do something kind of a little lighter, like I said, to connect recovery to something fun, because recovery can be fun. It doesn't always have to be serious and doom and gloom. And I think that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Up next we have Viola's piece. Viola wasn't able to join us today, unfortunately. Michael will be reading her piece.
So this is Viola's project. To be truly seen by someone who cares is life-affirming and makes all the difference. When I look at this photo of an eye, I'm reminded of how the eyes are the so-called window to the soul. Depression can often be seen in the eyes of an individual who is afflicted. On the other hand, people can be blind to depression as it is not readily apparent. When I go to the community support program at Waverley Place, I feel understood and empowered. I am seen not as an entity or statistic, but as a real person striving towards psychiatric recovery. People with mental illnesses are often categorized or stigmatized, but at Waverley Place that doesn't occur. Going to Waverley Place helps me to problem solve, to communicate, and to interact. It helps me to be a better person, to process and evolve. I no longer dwell on the past nor fear the future. This is a very important and challenging lesson. If I did not go to Waverley Place for support, I feel it could be somewhat life-threatening. To be truly seen by someone who cares is life-affirming. It makes all the difference. Viola.
Thank you for reading, Michael. And thanks, Viola. You're with us. Next up, we have Tom. Please welcome Tom.
I decided to start by not dwelling on my illness in my past, but what I've done to transform from my past into a better future. In the past, I've experienced discrimination at work. Rehab system gave me 79 type jobs that were repetitive and menial. Worst of those jobs was a sound workshop in Boston. They did not use my mind and were often quite frustrating. I remember meeting Larry Combs, Boston University Center for Psychiatric Rehabilitation, 1989 and 1990. He helped me get my first teaching volunteer job. I did clever work at Beams Theology School, and catalog photos for Beams Photographic Service Department, where I was treated very well. For the next 2 years, I did a variety of volunteer jobs. And I worked for 20 years in McLean Hospital's registrar's office. Others gave me good experience, but didn't use my creative abilities. The travel from Ham to Gold Center is much different. I'm respected at work, and I consider a partner there. I've been there more than 8 months, and I've learned how to use PowerPoint. I've done some Microsoft Word, and I've also begun to do some writing. It feels good to use my mind, have something to do. And I feel proud having a creative job that focuses me and a boss who respects me. I eventually want to do pre-counseling work. Not sure when I'm ready for school, but I know I want to help people. The next other thing I want to do is really become a part of the community in and outside my job, and not be tagged for being mentally ill, and make progress with that. A lot of my outside activities, particularly frequently run best scenes, which is a folk club in Howard Square, where I made a lot of friends, acquaintances, as well as listened to a lot of good music. I am starting to take the lead on my job now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. My piece was written I wrote it while we were planting the garden, and now the whole season has come and gone, so this is a little bit, maybe I'll put it in the past tense. There is a kind of triumph coupled with a sense of trust in the universe that comes from working with the earth. The psychologist Erich Fromm opens his book, The Art of Loving, with a quote from the 15th century physician Paracelsus. Anyone who imagines that all fruits ripen at the same time as the strawberries knows nothing about grapes. Just last week, we planted strawberries in the Waverley Place garden plot. Today we put in tomatoes, peppers, yellow squash, zucchini, Coordinating the garden group has been a mighty challenge for me, organizationally and physically. But I consistently feel so happy once I'm in the garden, working alongside others. Together, as a team, we have transformed a weed-choked landscape into neat beds where we will grow fruit, vegetables, and flowers. Or as Rabbi Everett Glanviller so beautifully put it, we will help the plants to grow. Last year, we had a fantastic haul of vegetables, including pumpkins. We made pumpkin pies and enjoyed our own farm-to-table experience. Helping plants to grow has seen me through some of my darkest times. Faith is inherent in the growing process. It is still miraculous to me that I can put a seed in the earth and only weeks later I can eat what I planted. There's a kind of triumph coupled with a sense of trust in the universe that comes from working with the earth. I'm a grape. I have taken my time to grow and mature. There is a season for everything. I have mourned and now is my time to rejoice. Up next, Dave.
So my work is this one with the basketballs in the corner. Reconnecting with the things that bring us joy is the shortest distance to our happiness. This photo reminds me of the chest of balls and sports equipment we had in my garage when I was a kid growing up. It reminds me of simpler times when all we had to do was play in the backyard all day with the neighborhood kids. There was no worry back then, only sports. Hours would pass at a time, and the exercise would leave me feeling refreshed, invigorated, and feeling good from endorphins. Even now, to play sports leaves me feeling calmer and happier. I think it is important to not lose sight of the things that bring you joy in life. I believe we all have the potential to submerge ourselves in a blissful activity that will bring us joy, whether it be exercise, cooking, making art, or anything else. In the face of depression and worries about other mental health issues, being able to find joy is the thing that keeps me sane. And I believe that we all have it somewhere, even if it is buried within us. Reconnecting with the things that bring us joy is the shortest distance to our happiness. So I play in an employee basketball league every Thursday night, and it's really the highlight of my week. I do it for fun. It's what I do for fun. I know I can go there, and when I play, I'm worry-free. I'm free from anxiety. I know I'm going to lose myself and immerse myself in the activity completely, and it's almost like a Zen thing for me. Playing basketball brings me back to simpler times. If I'm having a bad day, I can get out on the court and feel better. I think that knowing what brings you joy is really important. I think old school psychology was about trying to figure out where illnesses come from. There seems to have been a shift in recent years to more positive psychology, which is more focused on what your strengths are and what makes you happy. Instead of studying how an illness had its origins, it's much more productive to focus on what makes you happy. Thank you.
We have one participant who is not with us today. We lost a fabulous member of Waverley Place, Eric, and we miss him very much. And we'll let Jen introduce his work.
Oh, let's have a moment of silence to think about Eric. The title of his work, All Illnesses Should Be Treatable, and No Illness Should Be Stigmatized.
Yeah.
The statue in this photo is of soldiers identified as heroes of the American Revolutionary War. When I look at them, they remind me of other heroes, the many we lose in the continuing war on mental health. In the early part of America's history, people who had mental illnesses were placed in institutions that were similar to jails. Once inside these facilities, the people could not leave and were treated in ways that were unspeakably cruel. They were often chained to their beds, kept in filthy conditions, and even abused. Even today, many have succumbed to hospitalization as there are few treatment options available for them. I believe this system is ineffective at educating the masses about mental illness. The mentally ill are treated like modern-day witches. Instead of being part of society, they are treated as peculiar or sick, when in reality, mental health is a natural part of life. It can be understood as any other physical illness. As the early crusader Dorothea Dix said, the mentally ill would benefit from work, recreation, and understanding, just like anyone else. Today, all illnesses should be treatable, and no illness should be stigmatized. Dedication should be to the highest quality of patient services, delivered with a sense of warmth, friendliness, individual pride, and uncommonly high spirit. Eric.